Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Miguel and Mike. Just ready for the class. It starts
Oh, yeah.
9, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Let's see here. I get this going. And Mike, you're Miguel, right?
Yes, I'm Miguel.
Miguel Montes.
Miguel, yep.
All right. Just want to make sure I got the right attendance here.
Yep.
Okay. We'll just wait a bit, see who else shows up.
Don, I have a question.
Yeah, I guess we'll get going. I thought I was expecting a few more, but we'll
Okay.
see. No problem.
I just forget how to go to the simulator.
What's that?
I just forget the procedure how to go to the, because I'm in a tablet.
Oh
I
yeah,
want to
well,
go to the little sim.
the sim, I share that. So here,
Okay.
let
Perfect.
me show you.
Mm-hmm.
And let me bring that up here. And yeah, I'll share my screen, so you'll see the simulator on the shared screen, but you can manipulate it when we connect eventually. So, but we won't connect right away. So let's see here. Menu audio, I guess.
Hello.
There.
Good morning.
Hello.
I'm Jose.
Hi, Jose. How's it going?
Hi.
I just the three of us for now, it looks like. So let me get started.
Okay.
And yeah, there you go, Mike. So you see the shared simulator screen there now.
Mm-hmm.
And when we connect, I'll have a link. You can go separately to that to connect, and then you'll be able to put in the stuff that'll control it and see the results here, instead of everybody having to go to the USIM and log in. It wouldn't work as well, I guess. Anyway, plus I can share my PowerPoints here. So class 7, we're talking about uncompleted actions in the present situation. In other words, situations that are going on and are still going on, and when people start to talk about it, have they finished or they haven't finished? Are they still working, or things like that? So what we're really talking about is more conditional verbs that aren't really necessary for ATC communication, but are definitely things that you'll hear. I would rather that you understand them rather than use them necessarily. I'll show you a few examples of that, but things that you will come across, and you're probably used to hearing the phrases, so it's not going to really be anything new, but we'll take a look here. So anyway, well, go ahead, Miguel, read the objectives for me.
Yes. Objectives. 1, to correctly communicate the status of actions, events, or condition as not completed, not done, pending completion, still in progress, not done yet, but expected to be completed, finished or completed, done.
Okay, and sometimes the completion status of the actions may be evident to the pilot or controller, but not necessarily to both. So, for instance, the tower is looking and thinks that the pilot, maybe he's waiting for the guy to clear the alleyway before he gives taxi instructions to another aircraft, whatever the case may be. And he's told them to let him know when he's clear the taxiway or the alleyway. And the tower's looking over there, and they don't always have the best sight lines, especially near the terminal. So he's like, I think he's finished the maneuver. And of course, the ground personnel like, no, he hasn't finished the maneuver yet. So he knows he's still blocking the tower. It's not sure. Now, it's not that they would take any action on this tower. It's always positive control. So, it's always a report, have the pilot or the ground report clearing the alleyway, report clearing the taxiway, like things like that. So it's not, hopefully these kinds of problems don't arise into real situations. Nobody's going to take an action. They're just going to maybe ask you for some more information because they're wondering what's going on. So ATC thinks it's done, but ground says no, he's still in the way. And not completed, not done. In this case, the action has not been completed. Seems like this kind of action that they're showing here is not going to be completed anytime soon, but in this case, the action and hasn't, has not, or hasn't, just a contraction of has not. Hold position, the ground crew hasn't finished yet. Roger. Now he's waiting and waiting, like, it looks clear now. No, continue holding position. Again, this actually was a situation. There was a big storm in Europe. A lot of aircraft were diverted to Tenerife, and some heavy jets that weren't used to landing on the island and the runway. It was getting foggy, and they were worried about getting stuck there again. And I think it was a KLM that decided the runway was clear and just turned on and started a takeoff roll, and ended up clipping a Continental or something like that and killing a bunch of people, just simply because the pilot decided he wasn't going to wait around anymore and wasn't sure about the situation. It's really a tragedy, but you know, just not something that the whole system is based on. It's all positive control. You know, you don't take actions on yourself like that, but you know, it's been years in the making, that sort of crew resource and pilot ATC interaction. And hopefully the culture today is a lot more positive control. But so this guy's like, the runway looks clear. That certainly doesn't mean he's going to actually start rolling down the runway. He's just going to make some more inquiries maybe. The ground crew hasn't finished. They are still working. They still haven't finished. And again, so you might hear these kinds of sentences, these kinds of phrases, but let's face it, in ATC, it's going to be more positive. Like ATC would say, it's not like the ground crew hasn't finished yet. They would say simply like, the runway is not clear. It's all present tense, is much more to the point and direct and informative than say conditional or things like that. It's just that when you get somebody talking in the tower or on the ground or in a cockpit, they may start using things like this, and you have to recognize they may not have all the information. It's sort of more like what they can see or what they believe, but not necessarily what's been approved or what is actually the case. So that's the kind of language we're looking at, where it can be very subjective, can be very questionable, not as positive as proper phraseology. Anyway, so we're going to look at some dialogues and some examples and read about adverse situations that are occurring, and meaning that are still waiting for things to be solved or concluded or finished up until they do, until they're done, or until the event occurs. The pilot has to remain attentive and wait, because it's probably that things are out of his control. He just has to wait for the actual word. It's usually something, again, not something normally you would experience during a taxi and takeoff, but something that would complicate things. You know, maybe you have to pull over, maybe you have to park, maybe you're waiting and waiting and you're not sure why. That's always when questions start to come in. Are we still waiting? Did they forget about us? What's going on here? So hopefully this kind of communication will keep everybody on the same page. And reviewing grammar, as far as the structures, again, have, haven't, hasn't, has not, have not. It's a conditional to be, you know, part of a conjugation of the word is or to be. And a lot of people use these things without even thinking about it, and sometimes even incorrectly, but you get the impression that it's an ongoing thing. It's not like it is in the future. It's really, it has not happened. It will happen in the future, but it's sort of ongoing, being worked on right now. So that can be a little confusing sometimes. Anyway, so let me look at some scenarios. And still 3 of us. So how about Jose, read number 1 for me.
American Airlines 349, Boeing 737 is leaving O'Hare. Is in contact with the Chicago Center. The crew was instructed to fly on a track that leads to a thunderstorm.
Okay, so he's out there on a heading, heading towards some buildups. And again, you have to know that what you see on the, especially on a larger aircraft radar, if you have weather radar, it's almost always going to be better than what ATC sees. What they put on our scopes can be old, it can be in the wrong location, it can be very imprecise about the width, the height. We don't really have any height or base information, and really rely on the pilots to say, you know, we can climb over it, we can go around it, we need to deviate this way, and so on and so on. So this guy's kind of wishy-washy about what he wants, but finally lets him know he can deviate. But it's always best to speak right up and let him know. So how about Mike be the tower and Jose be the aircraft? Miguel?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I
You
did
read
the tower.
the tower, and you read the tower
Okay.
parts or the controller
Perfect.
parts, and Jose
Yes.
will be
American Airlines 349 radar contact. Clear O'Hare 5 departure. Climb and maintain 5,000.
Roger, clear O'Hare 5 departure. Climb and maintain 5,000. American Airlines 349.
All right, this is what he sees. He very, very more precise. Not only that, but they can even see heights. Sometimes they can change aspects and see a little more like kind of buildup it is and what the extent is, and be a lot more precise.
Okay, American Airlines 249, turn right heading 270 to intercept GPA 180 radial inbound, increase your speed to 50, climb and maintain 15,000.
Sir, our radar show there's a CBs on the heading, on that heading.
All right.
Roger, my radar doesn't show the weather. How does it look?
The storms hasn't yet reached peaks activity, but still look really big. American Airlines 349.
So this is a kind of a waste of time here. Again, using that language, being imprecise. It's not that big yet, but it's getting bigger. There's usually not a lot of time for that, and would have been much better if Americans simply said, unable 270 heading due to thunderstorms, we need to deviate wherever. And eventually he says, go ahead.
Chicago departure, American Airlines 349. Could we deviate right around the weather?
So I'm not sure why they did this scenario here, because he's trying to turn him to page anyway. So seems like that would have been the way to go anyway. But I think what it really was the storm was over here and he has to go further around, but it just wasn't drawn very well. But why go through all that unnecessary phraseology? As soon as the controller said turn and the heading put him into the storm, he should have said, unable, can we fly present heading, or unable, we need to deviate right, and job done. Controllers know that you can see the storms and the buildups much better than us. they're not usually going to argue at all about it. Even if another aircraft has recently gone that way, it can change that quickly that the next guy won't be able to make it. Of course, in this case, what do we got over here is arrivals coming into O'Hare. So he'll probably make him go left. In this case, he just says negative due to traffic. Again, hopefully the guy's not too busy to respond correctly. He should have really said unable right deviation, deviations to the left are approved. Again, due to traffic or whatever. And maybe the aircraft wants to go to the west, but it'll now have to go out here to the south and then finally back around just due to the weather and the traffic. But that's usually what happens. And of course, if it's imminent, the pilot should just avoid the weather and then worry about the deviation later on. Anyway, so if you can see that what we're talking about here, this conditional, this this kind of phraseology is not necessarily standard phraseology, and it's not necessarily the best way to deal with any situation. It's just something that you're going to hear in conversation that you should be aware of. And almost always there's a better way with proper phraseology to address the situation. But that way, when you hear somebody using this, you're not going to be caught off guard. You'll understand that they're maybe sort of talking and thinking at the same time and not really coming up with a clear picture yet. So you can understand that they may not have all the answers yet. Anyway, Jose, go ahead and read this scenario.
Uniform Alpha Lima 239, Boeing 737, is an inbound to New York, FC, via the Pauling to arrival with Albany transition. It is currently in contact with the Boston Center. The crew was advised that the airport is closed, and there isn't an estimated time for the airport to reopen.
That's United 299. Okay, so go ahead, Miguel, be the tower again, or the approach control.
United 299, clear via Pauling to arrival with Albany transition. Descend and maintain 12,000, reduce speed to 30. Expect delay at Pauling.
Roger, cleared by Pauling to arrival with Albany transition. Descend and maintain 12,000, reduce speed 230. Expect to hold at Pauling.
All right.
Sir, they still haven't reopened
JFK.
United 239.
It is still closed, United 299.
Roger, United 239.
United 299, the airport will remain closed for a while. Do you want to proceed to your alternates?
We are in contact with the company, but we haven't received instructions yet. Give us 1 minute, please. United 299.
Okay.
Okay, United 299.
So minutes later, the airport's reopened. So again, that phraseology was perfectly acceptable. It was him discussing his interaction with his company. It wasn't any sort of command or control. It's just simply like that we haven't been able to get a hold of them, or they haven't given us an answer yet. That's more appropriate.
United 299, flight heading 180, vector ILS runway 22 right. Contact tower on 123.9. Good day.
Royal heading 180, tower on 123.9. United 299.
So I think they're sort of forcing this one on us here for the lesson, but would be a lot better way to say this. So you're calling the tower after they switched you over, and even though they cleared you out of holding and you're going back to the localizer to continue on in, he now lets the tower know he's not receiving the localizer. So what would you, how would you say that here? Go ahead. You read that Kennedy Tower United 299, we still haven't received the localizer. What does he mean by that? He's not picking it up. He's not receiving it. So if you call the tower and told them that, what would you say instead of we haven't received the localizer?
Kennedy Tower United 239, we still haven't received the localizer.
Yeah, but you'd probably call them and say, Kennedy Tower United 299, we're not receiving the localizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more correct. We are currently, right now, at this moment, not receiving the localizer. Kennedy Tower, we're not receiving the localizer. Is it out of service? Either way, we don't have it. Request a visual approach. So you say that we haven't received it can be a little confusing sometimes. You know, did you not receive it because you weren't cleared to intercept it, or were you not told to expect it, or are you trying to receive it? Were you told to intercept and it's not working? Is there a problem with your equipment? A problem with there? You know, something simple, simply to the point. We're not receiving the localizer would be proper phraseology.
Yeah.
And in this case, request visual approach. We're not picking up the localizer. And then he's more, you got to be more concerned with flying and landing the plane. We got the field in sight, request visual approach. We're not picking up the localizer. And then later on, let them worry about trying to figure out if the localizer's not working or not. So sometimes this phraseology can cloud the issue or cause too many delays. But clear visual approach. So as he continues on, continue on, you guys go ahead with this. That's the United answer now.
Roger, clear approach 22 right, United 299.
Oh, that was it. Anyway, so Jose, on all of the, yeah, I know in most other places, call signs are all going to be individual, United 299er, things like that. In the U.S., they're always group form for air carriers, but it's kind of a strange group form. I know you're saying it properly, like you would normally say 299, but they would never say that. They always split them by groups of 10. So take the first two digits and chop them off, 99, and then everything that's before that, in this case a 2, is going to be 299, or 299. If it was 1299, it would be 1299. A little unusual way of doing it, but that's how you're going to hear all the call signs. For instance, United Airlines 924 instead of 924 or 924, it's going to be 924. Okay. So just split off every group of 2 like that, and do it that side, 9 on one side and 24 on the other. So quick way to figure it out. Like this cactus here, what would you say that?
A93.
Yeah. Little different. Probably U.S. is the only place that really does that. And I think it's always been that way because it tries to differentiate between military and general aviation, which tend to be all singular. So, you know, like November 8903 or Shooter 903 would be for military and general aviation, but air carrier and business jet would always be the group form 893. Just simply to try to avoid call sign confusion. All right, so Miguel, go ahead and read this one.
Yes, at Washington Dulles Airport, an unusual report is going to cause a United Airlines 924 to delay its departure. United 924 Heavy is holding short of one right after Cactus A93 took off, and SWA is on short final
That's
for one right.
Southwest.
Southwest, okay.
Okay. So there goes the the Cactus and how about Jose be the tower?
Cactus 893 contact for automatic departure on 2126.65.
All right, and Miguel be the airline.
Over to departure, Cactus A93, and just prior to takeoff, there's something on the runway, some kind of animal.
Nice.
Cactus A93 Roger.
Meanwhile, Southwest on short final to one right. Immediately after that report, tower contacts Southwest 236 on short final, runway one right. Let them know about a possible animal on the runway.
Southwest 2368 aircraft departing runway one right. Say there he spot something on the runway.
2368, thanks.
Jack Rabbit and Southwest 2236. You want to continue your approach?
You notice they keep switching between Southwest 236 and 2368 for some reason, but I don't know if that was the actual transcript or if it was just a typo here.
We're going to continue to 36.
So sorry. So Southwest land pulls off.
United 9024 Heavy Dulles Tower, runway one to right, line of away.
One right land, open weight, United 934 Heavy.
Later, ATC's made some more inquiries, and United 924 Heavy is wondering what's going on. They haven't cleared him for takeoff because they're doing a check, but they're not sure. United asks.
Tower United 924 Heavy, have you seen anybody to check yet?
Not sure why they blocked all that out here. Tower says.
United 924 Heavy, we have already asked one of our vehicles to check, continue holding in position.
Vehicles. Yeah.
We'll continue holding, and thanks, United 924 Heavy.
And really, he would be saying waiting. They always prefer that on the ground. No confusion about who's in the air. Later, Tower is expecting the ground operations vehicle to report back to him.
Oops, traffic is calling in position. They are waiting for you. See if there is a rabbit or something. All aircraft on the frequency. We are in the progress of a runway check for an animal that was spotted on the runway.
Finally, the ground ops vehicle contacts Tower We have already inspected the area and we did not see any animals. The area is clear. Again, I think they're kind of forcing this phraseology on us. We have already inspected the area. Simply, he would say, we're finished, or we've inspected the area and we did not see any animals. Why be less clear? We have already inspected it. That would be sort of more a response if the tower said, go and inspect it, and he said, we've already inspected it. You know, we were done already. We saw nothing. So not quite as clear.
United 924 heavy, nothing spotted by the ground operation by on the vehicle on the runway with a wind the runway wind 300 at 5 knots, left heading 360, runway heading runway 1 to right, clear for takeoff.
I don't know why it's blocking all this text here.
Left turn 360, runway 1 right, clear for takeoff. United 924 heavy.
And just before takeoff, United 924 informs dispatch. This would be the United. Who's doing the aircraft?
Oh, sorry. They have already checked and there's no rabbit. We're clear to go.
So if you call dispatch and said that there's no rabbit, well, you might say like they have checked and there's no rabbit. To say they have already checked would really be an answer like if maybe his op said, hey, have them go check again. You might say they've already checked, there's no rabbit. So they're really forcing these conjugations that you probably wouldn't hear in this context. You call a company and let them know that you're rolling. Say they checked, there's no rabbit. That's simply it. You know, there's no reason to say it any differently. But Roger. So, which makes the last exercise a little tougher. We're going to make you come up with some of these statements that you might hear. Some more fill in the blanks. So, again, think of it as like you're not sure, it's not completed, you're not exactly sure what's going on, so you're speculating necessarily. It's not always the positive, we are doing this, but we are still doing this, or we haven't finished this, or something like that. So as an example, ground, this is United 932, we blank that the ground crows, I think they meant cruise, are actually removing snow from Tango. Can you check if they blank already? Thanks. And then you would use the verbs to fill in. We haven't observed. You take it from down here. So the only thing is like we have observed or we haven't observed that they're removing snow. Either way, can you check if they have started already? In this case, they haven't even seen any work done yet, and they're wondering if they're starting, if they're not even finishing. But all right, what seems to be the problem other than the fact that they're taxing towards each other? So how about Mike, ground, this is DHL 5557, American 6505, blank the taxiway. I'm stopping the aircraft. And oh, let me give you the ones to choose from.
Ground, this is HL 5557 American 6505.
So this is
Haven't
this is a little this is a little confusing here. But what they're trying to get at is American was supposed to maybe turn off there or up here, and he hasn't. So he hasn't exited, something like that.
Haven't exited the taxiway or haven't stopped. It's exited, yes, of course.
Haven't exited.
The taxiway.
Actually, hasn't. American 6505 hasn't exited, we would say. We treat American, instead of a group saying haven't, we would treat it as a singular thing.
Yes.
The British might say they haven't exited. The English or the Americans would say hasn't exited the taxiway. But same thing. You can see some of these are a little more unusual. Oh, we got somebody else here, huh? Guillermo.
Good morning. I couldn't be early. Sorry. But I'm just going to hear it. Huh?
No problem. I'll add you to the list here. We're going through some examples, and then we're going to jump in to do a little live sim stuff here in a bit, but no problem.
Great, thank you.
And in fact, let me go into Jose first. Tower, please, and confirm if it blank raining at the airport, and your choices are inform, be able to, stop.
We has informed raining at the airport.
Yeah, maybe you could say confirm if you've informed us, but it just simply is it stopped, is it started? Do something like that.
If it hasn't stopped raining.
Yeah. If it please confirm if it has stopped raining. Seems like he maybe he's away. He's coming to the airport. He's not there. Seems like if he was taxiing around, he'd pretty much know, but maybe he's inbound. All right, and no, go ahead, Guillermo. I'll make you do one here. We're just using a sort of a haven't, hasn't, is, isn't, that sort of thing to decide whether something is ongoing or not. For instance, they blank scare off the birds that are flying around the airport, and have use the be able to and conjugate that. And say they haven't done it, maybe.
They haven't be able to scare.
Yeah, so
of the bird.
They haven't, and now you use the conditional, so they haven't been able to.
Right. They haven't be able to scare of the the birds.
They haven't.
And they're flying around the airport. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been able to scare off. To be able to is the infinitive, and haven't been able to is the conditional. They haven't been able to. All right, back to Miguel. Tower, we blank the localizer. Is there anything wrong with it? I think is there anything wrong with it is supposed to be. We receive, I think, is your choice there.
Yeah, Tower, we haven't received the localizer.
Again, yeah.
Is there anything wrong with it?
We haven't received the localizer. So again, that is a little tortured phraseology. Instead of saying we haven't received the localizer, what would you say normally? If you're not receiving it now, you would just simply say
we are not receiving.
Exactly. So sometimes they get a little carried away with all these verb conjugations. Sometimes simpler is much better and to the point. That doesn't look good. Jose, they blank put out the fire, and Use be able to for this one too.
They have informed put out of the fire.
No, I would use the be able to. The other ones are just possible choices, but use.
They have to. They have be able to put our the fire.
Yeah, they they haven't been able to. They haven't been able to put out the fire. To be able to put out the fire, they have put out the fire, or they haven't put out the fire, or they haven't been able to put out the fire.
Okay.
Guillermo, do another one here. We blank. What's going on? Only that there's been an accident. We
be informed. we have informed what's going on.
Yeah,
only that there's been an accident.
We haven't been informed, or we've been informed, but since you said only, I would say we haven't been informed. Good one. We haven't been informed. Right. And Miguel, again, 5 minutes ago, United 298 reported we're on Charlie being between Charlie 8, Charlie 7, and we're unable to continue taxiing. 5 more minutes have gone by, and they blank the tug to tow them away. They probably
they haven't sent the tug to tow them away.
All right, they haven't sent the tug to tow them away. They're still waiting. Good job. All right, Jose, we blank visual contact with the airport, and
we haven't sent visual contact with the airport.
That's probably the only one that's not right. You could say we haven't established. We haven't received.
We haven't established visual contact with the airport.
You could even say we haven't made visual contact. Yeah, any of those. So what's your favorite? We
haven't make a visual contact with the airport.
Let's see what haven't made. Yeah, they like the haven't made. But yeah, you could say we haven't established visual contact. We haven't received visual contact even. That's a little more unusual, but established or made would probably be the best choices.
Right.
All right, so I have a, basically, I don't think we'll do control freeze. We'll go to the USIM here. Let me load it up here. And I don't think we'll use external control necessarily, because what I'm going to do is place you in a situation and then make you either answer something or transmit something, say something like that. It will be like, for instance, tell ATC that you don't have visual contact, and then you would have to come up with the proper phraseology or the improper phraseology with using the conditional verbs and stuff like that. So tell you what though, let me let's take a couple of minutes here. Take 5 minutes and go get a cup of coffee or whatever you need, and then I'll set up the sim and we'll get back into it.
Okay, see you.
Okay, bye.
All right. Let's see here. So, what am I going to do here? So, instead of I'll assign you each aircraft here. For Miguel, you can be United 2724, but you don't.
Okay.
We're not gonna log in. I'm not going to actually fly them. I'm just going to place them around here. We're going to talk about some situations here and go over some phraseology. So Miguel, he's United 2724, Jose, Delta 4559, and Guillermo, American 8240.
Roger, thank you.
Okay. And let's see here, actually. All right, I don't need this anymore, actually. There. So here we are at Fort Worth, Old Fort Worth. And you can see that we've got some buildups and some activity along the localizer, runway 18 localizer. Let's see, but we're going to discuss situations here. You're going to be concerned about the weather, the storms, the rain, the thunder, the lightning, so on and so on. But even some of the equipment here, for instance, problems with the localizer. ATC calls American 8240 after vectoring. It says American 8240, report the field and site, expect a visual approach. So, who's that? Guillermo, go ahead and call Fort Worth approach.
No, I'm way back. I come.
What's that?
Okay.
Yes, I come. I'm here now.
For me, I'm American 8240, no? Right?
Guillermo is, right?
Right.
Yeah. Call
Okay.
call up approach and tell them that you are not, that you have. How can I say this without giving the answer away? I hate these questions like this. You do not have visual approach. You do not have the field in sight.
American 8240. We have a contact with the airport. We're not visual approach. We doesn't have a visual approach.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. So, for instance, you would say, we do not have the field in sight, but you would, in the context of this lesson, they want you to say, we have not established visual contact, or we have not made visual contact.
Roger, American 8240 regional. We doesn't have contact with the airport. No, it's we haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to have a contact with the airport.
Yeah, exactly. We have not been able to. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's it, or
Hang on
more?
a second.
Sure.
My wife's texting me from downstairs to ask me questions.
Don't worry.
I'm not sure why.
Just
My phone's texting. I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, so you guys have been holding, and they just vectored American intercept the localizer. Now, Miguel, you're number 2 there, and you haven't been cleared in yet. So you were wondering if the airport's reopened yet. So go ahead and ask ATC. How would you say that?
Approach, this is United 2724. Does the airport haven't reopened yet?
Yeah, you could say that. I'd say more like has it reopened yet? I know most of these were negative, but you could be a little more positive, like has it reopened, or hasn't it reopened yet even? Again, what would you normally say? Is the airport open, or has it reopened? So what we're doing is, like, you're already told that it's closed for weather and you're holding. They expected it to clear off shortly, and they clear American in to intercept the localizer, tell them to report the field and site. And so you say, has it reopened? Something like that. Good. So, and Jose, you're concerned now if they reopen it, is it cleared off? Ask about the rain.
I'm in United or what aircraft?
No, you're Delta.
Delta 4559. You have a.
So let's go over our phraseology here. Whenever you call somebody, always tell them who you're calling. So you start not with your call sign, you end with that. You start with, in this case, this is Fort Worth approach, or you can just say approach if you're unsure. But Fort Worth approach, Delta 4559, and then say it.
Forward approach, Delta 4559. You have information where it's raining in the airport.
Yeah, that's good. No, that they told you that you were holding because of heavy rainstorms and some other weather, so that now they're clearing you in, and you want to know if it's cleared up. So say it that way. Has it stopped, or something like that?
Okay. Approach, forward approach. Forward approach.
Fort Worth, yeah.
Forward approach, Delta 4559. We have reopened we have
just
raining in airport. We have a rain in airport.
Has the rain stopped, or is
the rain stop?
Or you could say, yes, is it still raining? The other way.
It's still raining. Okay.
Either way, yeah. That's all. Okay. Chicago. I think they got the wrong airport here now. Okay, so let's go back here, and you guys instead are out here circling. This is maybe previously in holding, waiting to vectors for the localizer, and you're held a little bit further out. So Guillermo, call Fort Worth approach and ask about conditions at the airport. Want to know if there's still thunderstorms at the airport.
Okay. Forward approach, American 8240. Would you be able to tell if the rain is still raining?
Yeah, that's good. I would say, like, are there, let's talk about the thunderstorms specifically. Are there thunderstorms over the airport? Are the buildups still at the airport? Something like that. Have they cleared off? Maybe something like that.
Or you couldn't say too. Forward approach. Would you be able to tell us at what time is going to be reopened the airport?
Yeah. In fact, that can be pretty useful information. The thunderstorms a lot of times can be tracked very precisely. It's a cell's moving across the field, and it will be clear in 5 minutes or something like that. So you call them up, and they say, "What is the status? You know, have the thunderstorms moved away? Have the thunderstorms cleared off, or has the rain stopped?" Something like that.
Good.
And Miguel, ask about new ATIS information, if it's come out yet.
Approach, this is United. What is the number of the United?
2724.
United
Sorry.
2724. Do you have the latest ATIS information?
Yeah. So I hate this because the things you guys say are proper. What is the latest information? You know, give me the latest information, or what is the latest letter? But what they're trying to do is get you to make it even a little more convoluted. Sort of like, has the new ATIS come out, or something like that, which would be less appropriate, but kind of goes along with the theme of the class. Has it come out, or hasn't it come out yet? Something like that. I would say
the newest ATIS information come out?
Exactly. And
Okay.
Fort Worth says, United 2724, the ATIS is being updated. It hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
So then you call back and say, has it come out yet?
Hasn't come out yet. Okay.
Yeah. Or has it been updated?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just tune it in and find out for yourself, but who knows? Okay, and Jose, let's see here. You guys are cleared out now, and flight heading 120, intercept the runway 18 localizer, and Roger, show you intercepting 5 miles from Yoho. Contact the tower, and you call the tower and you say, like, hey, we still haven't received the localizer. So tell them that.
Delta tower Delta 4559. We haven't received information for the localizer runway.
Good.
I don't know.
Yeah, just we haven't received the localizer yet. I would probably say we're not receiving the localizer would be more appropriate.
We haven't received the localizer.
So like, hey, tower, we're with you now. We still haven't picked up the localizer. We're still not receiving the localizer, or we aren't receiving the localizer. Would be more to the point. So tell them you're not receiving the localizer, but you have the field in sight. Request visual approach.
Okay. Delta 4550. When it's tower Delta 4559, we haven't received the localizer. We have a traffic runway inside. We change the. We can continue with the visual approach.
Good. Perfect. All right. Okay, so now we're on the ground. Where is the ground? Why hasn't it changed? That's the wrong airport, but I guess we'll go with it. I'm not sure why they changed on us, but okay, so now some similar stuff, but now we're taxiing, we're talking to ground control. Make this a little bit smaller. Did they change call signs? Yes, they did.
Yeah.
So Miguel, United 6081, Jose, Air Canada 3512, and Guillermo, United 8873. So United call up ATC and tell them that Air Canada is still on taxiway Mike, and that you're stopping. Say he hasn't cleared the taxiway, or he hasn't got off the taxiway yet, or something like that. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Can you repeat the instructions for me, please?
Yeah, so you were told to taxi via Mike, and then Air Canada's on Mike, and he was supposed to have turned off, but he stopped. He was supposed to turn off for Charlie. Just let him know, like, hey, he's still blocking Mike, and we're stopping. Something like that.
Ground. This is United 6081. The aircraft hasn't exited the taxiway yet.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, he has not exited yet, or he has not cleared it, or he is still on it, or something like that. Very good, very good.
Right, thanks.
And Jose, you're in Air Canada, and tell them that you haven't cleared Mike yet, but you're approaching Charlie and about to turn.
Okay, it's ground Air Canada 3512. We have a traffic inside. The Mike taxiway is it has no clear. It hasn't cleared.
Yeah, we haven't cleared, or we're still on Mike, or we're not clear of Mike. We are just now turning on to Charlie, or we haven't yet turned on to Charlie, something like that. Like maybe ground says, like, Air Canada 3512, confirm you're on Charlie, clear of Mike, and you tell them no, you're not.
Okay. Air Canada 3512. We have a traffic on Mike. We have a turn to Charlie or Hotel.
Yeah, I guess. So ground calls up Air Canada, says, Air Canada 3512, confirm you're off Mike now on taxiway Charlie, and you call him back and tell him no, you're still on Mike.
This is Air Canada. Have the traffic is on Mike. It's already in Mike.
No, just say like negative ground, we are still on Mike, about to turn on Charlie or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
They're wondering if, if you've made the turn onto Charlie. They think you've already done it, perhaps, but you haven't. So you're telling them,
Okay.
no, we're still on Mike, about to turn on Charlie, or we haven't turned on to Charlie, something like that.
Okay.
All right. Now, Guillermo.
Yeah, go ahead.
United 8873, hold short of Bravo. Traffic will be opposite direction on Charlie, an Airbus, and let me know when you're parked at Bravo, and tell them you're still coming up to Bravo.
Roger, United 8873, clear by Bravo, hold short Bravo, and let you know. We'll let you know when we get Bravo.
Okay.
United 8873.
Now call them back and tell them you're just pulling up at Bravo or something like that.
Okay. Well, we're calling when we're pulling up to Bravo, United 8873.
So now let's say you're just about to park at, hold short at Bravo. Call ground and tell them that you're at Bravo, holding short.
Okay. Okay. Is it okay? It's okay, or where is?
Yeah, this this is
Well, wherever, no?
I have no idea where this is now. We were at Fort Worth, but I'm not sure what they changed this to. I think this is JFK, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or could it be San Francisco or something like that? Because
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know why it changed.
yeah, well,
Airports.
whatever. If you wanna, I will call you
I
Dallas.
think it's just say ground.
Ground. Okay. Ground. Good morning. United 88 73. We're ready to taxi.
All right, so they've already cleared you up to taxi to the ramp and via Charlie, hold short of Bravo, and let them know when you get to Bravo. So now I'm just saying, like, now you've rolled up to Bravo. You're like stopping
Okay.
right there on Charlie at Bravo, and call them up and tell them, yeah.
Hold it up. United 8873 holding Bravo.
Yeah, on Charlie, short of Bravo.
Charlie holding Bravo.
Yeah. So now use it with this phraseology. Instead of just saying, you would say like, we're on Charlie holding short of Bravo, which would be proper, but you were going to let them know when you got there. So it'd be like, we are just getting to Bravo, or we are just approaching Bravo, or we are just at Bravo, something like that. Or we haven't finished taxiing, or we haven't made it to Bravo yet, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, United 8873. We have a Bravo. That's it, or?
Yeah, I guess. So it would be something like United 8873 ground. Let me know when you get to Bravo, and you would call back, say like, ground United 873. We haven't got to Bravo yet. We haven't got there yet.
We haven't got yet Bravo. United
right?
8873.
Okay, now call them back and say you're holding short and you just got there.
Okay, ground United 8873 holding short.
Exactly.
Bravo.
Exactly. So you can see that while the lesson wants you to say something like, we have just arrived at Bravo, or we have just got to Bravo, or we are holding short at Bravo. It's much more proper for you to say, we're on Charlie holding short of Bravo.
Okay. Great.
So that's the problem with this lesson is the answers are not the proper phraseology. But
Good.
what we're talking about is the kind of phraseology that you might hear from other aircraft or from ATC when they're speculating about something. Hey, has he gotten there yet? He has not quite got there yet. Things like that. Instead of saying for sure, report Bravo or report clearing Charlie, things like that. Sometimes they'll speculate, they'll say like, hey, let me know when you're clear, or hey, have you got off the runway yet? Things like that. Instead of making a proper report or a position report, you may hear this kind of phraseology, and that's what we're concerned about, is understanding the intent behind it.
Yeah.
So let's try some different here's Air Canada. United is lined up and waiting. So United, Miguel, tell Tower that you're that you're still waiting for Air Canada to clear the runway. He still hasn't cleared the runway. He's up ahead here, rolling out.
Tower, this is United 6081. The American airline hasn't cleared the runway yet.
Yeah, perfect. All right, and Tower calls Air Canada 3512. Are you still on the runway? And Jose, call the
Yes.
tower back and let them know you're just about to exit.
Air Canada Tower American Tower Air Canada 3512. We haven't already stopped in the runway. Can you exit in the next taxiway, Romeo?
We'll assume that you were told to exit at the high-speed Yankee, and you're just telling them like, we are just now exiting, or we're just getting off the runway.
Okay. Air Canada 3512. We exit the taxiway Yankee.
Okay. That's a little more to the point, but tell them that, try to say it where you're not quite clear, but you're just getting off of the runway on Yankee.
Okay. Air Canada 3512. We just hold on Yankee. That's
Just say we just turned onto Yankee or something like that.
just turn Yankee. Air Canada 3512.
Yeah, we just turned on to Yankee and we're about to clear the runway. Something like that.
Yes, Air Canada 3512 on the stay on the Yankee.
Yeah. All right. Back to United. You're at the gate there, and you were cleared to taxi. And now ground is wondering why you're still sitting there. Tell them that you haven't finished pushing back.
United 8873. Just
Remember, when you guys call, you always say who you're calling first, and then your
it's
call sign.
ground control.
Yeah.
United 8873, and we haven't yet made the pull up.
Yeah, just say we haven't finished. We haven't finished.
We have finished.
Haven't started pushback.
The pushback.
Yeah. And United is holding short of Bravo on Charlie, waiting to taxi to the ramp. United 6081 traffic is pushing back, and once he's clear, we'll have your taxi to the gate. So you let him know that you can see the traffic and he's still not pushed back.
Yeah. Ground control, United 8873. We haven't finished the pushback, and we still have the traffic inside.
So yes, but United 6081, Miguel.
Okay, Miguel.
Now they call you and say the United company is pushing back, and when he's clear, you'll be able to continue to taxi to the ramp. So United 6081, tell him you have the traffic in sight, and he has not pushed back yet.
Ramp control, this is United 6081. We have the aircraft inside. He hasn't started the pushback already.
Yeah, there you go. He hasn't started to push back. That's good. I like that one. Because a lot of times he might just say that simply United 6081 taxi to Terminal Echo, follow the yellow company Airbus when he's clear. And you say, Roger, he's just finishing up, or he hasn't started yet, or we got him in sight, we'll follow him. That's good. Let's see, a couple more. Air Canada, you've just exited runway 4 right and call the tower and tell them you saw a deer on the runway at the far end.
Tower, Air Canada 3512. We have on Yankee, we have a towing in the taxiway. Towing or close the. Tell them
that at the far end of 4 right, you see some deer.
All right.
In other words, you pulled off on the taxiway, but down here, maybe down here a little bit further, you see some animals, some deer.
Okay. Tower, Air Canada 3512. We have some animal and on the runway to see 4 right.
Air Canada 3512, Roger, we'll get someone out there to check it out. So now, as you continue on, you call the tower back and say, it looks like they're still there. Have they checked yet, or something like that? Okay.
Tower, Air Canada 3512. On Yankee, we have a towing or something in the end of the Yankee.
Oh,
we haven't received information for this construction.
No, yeah, that's fine. I should have probably moved that out of your way, but no, just call back the tower and ask them if anybody's checked on the animals that you saw yet. Say, has anybody checked on the deer yet? Yeah, they're still down there, or something like that.
Okay, tower, Air Canada 3512. Have you received any information for animals in the end of the runway? 084 right?
Say, have they checked on the deer yet? Have they checked? Has the ground crew checked? Have they checked the runway yet?
Okay. Canada 3512 have a runway check yet?
That's good. So, all right, we'll just sort of go into the marathon here, which is the same sort of thing here. For instance, United 8873, there is a equipment on mic after 33 right. I'll need you to back taxi 33 right. So when you get up here, you're going to call back and tell me that, ask me if they're still working on the taxiway.
Okay.
Tell them you think they're waiting to let you go on the mic, and you tell me that you don't think the crews are done yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ground control. United 8873 holding short to 3 right. Do you know? Do you have information about the people who's working in mic?
Well, they told you that they're clearing it off and about done, but you call them back and tell me that you can see them, that they're still working, that they're not done yet.
Yeah. Okay. United 8873. We have the people inside working, so they're still working there.
Good. Yeah.
Do you have any information about that?
They are still working. Exactly. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want to hear. Okay. So, United. Let's see. What are we doing here? You're going to be taxiing for 22 left, lining up in a wait, and you're waiting to take off, and you're looking down there, and you're going to tell them. They tell you expect departure after aircraft finishes taxiing maneuvers, and you call back and say the Air Canada is still blocking the runway. He hasn't cleared the runway yet.
Tower, this United 1681, the Air Canada hasn't cleared the runway. He's still blocking it. Yeah,
that's good. He has not cleared. He has still. That's perfect. Exactly. So when you're usually you're not giving the information. Usually they're giving the information, and they're using these. So it's something like that. But in this case, you're forwarding some information. They're expecting the Air Canada to clear off the way before they clear you to take off, and you're just letting them know, yeah, he's still blocking the runway, or he still hasn't cleared the runway. So Air Canada, tell them that you are clear now and holding short of 33 right. You're clear of runway 22 left, but holding short of 33 right.
Okay. Tower, Air Canada 3512. It's clear runway 22 left. Yankee hold short runway 23 right.
Good. So yeah, I mean your phraseology is perfect, which doesn't necessarily go with the lesson, which is not perfect. So that's probably the best way to say it. I can't really fault you for that. What I'm trying to get is to say something like, we have cleared runway 22 left. we are holding short of 3.3 right, but to report it the way you did is much clearer and much more appropriate. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, let's see here. Still see they haven't removed. And now back to United. The cruiser's still working there and he's further down, but you see that he's on there. Call back and tell him that they still haven't removed all the snow.
Yeah.
Which United?
83.
Sorry, yeah, Guillermo,
Oh, okay.
8873.
Yeah. Okay. United ground control. United 8873. We have the people inside working at the mic. Do you have any information about that?
Yeah, that's good. You're telling me though, say like the tower says like, yeah, they're about done moving, clearing snow, and they'll be done in a second. And then you wait a little bit, and you call back and you tell them like, hey, they're still not done. Let me know. Like you can see them now, so call the tower or the ground and say you can see the ground crews and they're still not done clearing the snow. That's kind of the answer though.
Okay. Well, toward United 8873, we can see the snowman working in mic. This is working in mic.
And just tell me they're not done yet.
Yeah, they are done good yet.
Yeah, they are
United
they are
8873.
still not finished.
They still not finished.
So
United
here,
8873.
let's do this here. Let me bring up the exercises. And we'll finish up looking at these fill in the blanks again, so what instead of saying like here, like in this example, United 932, we see that the ground crews are actually removing snow from Tango. Can you check to see if they have finished already? Sort of like what you're doing now, but instead of saying like we haven't observed if they have started already. For instance, they're told that they're going to be clearing the snow, and they're watching them. That looks like they're still drinking their coffee or something, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's go through these one more time, and to try to get focus back on the verb conjugations that we're talking about. So let me start with Miguel, and fill in the blank. You're looking up ahead, DHL 5587, and you're reporting on the American 6505 up ahead, and it's blank, the taxiway, I'm stopping the aircraft. And your concern is, has he stopped, has he exited, has he established? What would you choose?
American 605 hasn't exited the taxiway and stopping the aircraft.
Yes, he hasn't is correct. They put haven't, but hasn't exited the taxiway. If they talk about the crew, American 6505, then you would say like they haven't exited the taxiway. But good. Jose, tower, please confirm if it blank raining at the airport, and inform, been able to, or stop. Ask if it's stopped. Jose?
Yes. Sorry. Tower, please confirm if it has stopped raining at the airport.
Yeah, has stopped. Perfect. If it has stopped. Again, you might say, what is the status? Is it raining? But if you use this, it would be like, it stopped, or confirm that it has stopped. And Guillermo, they blank scare off the birds that are flying around the airport and tell me that they can't do it. Something like that.
They are able, they are be able to scare, or the birds are flying around the airport.
Yeah, but say that they can't do it.
Okay, they can do it. Able.
They are not able, or they are not unable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They are not able to scare of the birds and the flying around the airport.
Yeah, they haven't been able to. They haven't been able to scare off the birds, or or simply they are unable to scare off the birds.
They are.
So if I say they haven't been able to, that kind of implies that they've been working on it and so far they've been unsuccessful. But if I say they are unable to, present tense, then it sounds more like they've tried everything and they still can't scare them away. There's nothing more they can do. So
yeah, you're right.
And this one is kind of like, yeah, they haven't been able to, but they're still working on it. The other one is more like they've tried everything and they can't do it. That's really the crux of the lesson is, what are they implying if they say they haven't been able to scare off the birds? You think that they've tried a few things and nothing's worked. But if I say they are unable to scare off the birds, that's a little more final, like they've given up. Like, we've tried everything and nothing's worked. We are unable to scare off the birds. Yeah. So that's why we're talking about this kind of conjugation. It's like, what do they mean? What are their intentions? If Tower says, well, they haven't been able to scare off the birds, it sounds like, yeah, they're still working on it. They're still trying to. But if they say they're unable to scare off the birds, that's a little more definite. It's like, we're out of luck. The birds are there to stay. All right, back to Mike. Tower, we blank the localizer. Is there anything wrong with it? And inform, receive, be able to.
Tower, we haven't received the localizer. Is there anything wrong with it?
Yeah, we haven't received the localizer. Probably more properly, you would say we aren't receiving the localizer.
Yeah, we're not receiving.
Yeah. In that case, the past tense, we haven't received the localizer, but we're trying something else maybe, or, now we're wondering if there's a problem with it. But just say, like, we aren't receiving it. Is there a problem with it? That would be more to the point.
Okay.
Jose, and say they can't do it.
They haven't. They haven't be able to put out of the fire.
Yeah, they haven't been able to put out the fire. I like. What would you normally say? They can't put out the fire. Sometimes that's the problem with this. Is like they haven't been able to put out the fire. Sounds like, well, they're working on it, and they're still working on it. It's still going though. So like they can't put out the fire. It's like, okay, what does that mean? They're giving up? Yeah. Are they just going to let it burn out? They've tried everything and they can't put out the fire. So that's usually what the reason we use one of these over the other. It's sort of intent or ongoing. They haven't been able to, but they're still working on it, for instance. If you say they can't put out the fire, then what? Maybe they've tried everything and they've given up, but That's usually the difference in what we're talking about here.
Mhm.
And Guillermo, we blank
Right.
what's going on, only that there's been an accident.
Mm, we
And
haven't
you-
informed.
Yeah.
We haven't informed what's going on.
Say
Only
we
that
haven't
there has
been
been an
informed.
accident.
Yeah, we haven't been informed. We haven't informed, but they haven't informed us, for instance.
Mhm.
We haven't been informed what's going on, only that there's been an accident. I don't know what's going on here. This guy's like laying down here behind the wheels.
The well, no, yeah.
I don't know. He looks a little ill. Hopefully they didn't run him over. All right, Mike, again. 5 minutes ago, United 298 reported we're on Charlie between Charlie 8 and Charlie 7. We're unable to continue taxiing. He called for the tug. So 5 minutes more have gone by and they blank the tug to tow them away.
5 minutes more have gone by and they haven't informed the tug to tow them away.
I like that. That works. That works. Yeah. They haven't informed the tug to tow them away. Really, they're trying to say is they haven't sent the tug.
Okay.
But yeah, informed. If you say like we informed them to go out there or we sent them out there, either way it works perfectly well. So yeah, 5 minutes more and they still haven't called the tug. For some reason. Jose, we blank visual contact with the airport.
We haven't made visual contact with the airport.
Yeah, that's good. And again, you could say we haven't established or we haven't received, but we haven't made visual contact is probably more correct. We haven't made visual contact. All right, so you see the very, very subtle differences, and most of the time it's not a good idea to use this phraseology because it's too open to conjectures. Like what exactly are they trying to say? What do they mean? Are they still trying? Have they given up? What's the status? It's so much better to say we are clear, we are not clear, we are doing this, we are not doing that, and same with ATC. So, but when you hear this kind of conditional response, you'll know that maybe something is ongoing, maybe they've tried everything and they are still working. It's not successful, but they're still trying, that sort of thing. And really, that's about it. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
I think your natural instincts are very good, and the way you talk about this and the way you describe things and the way you talk to ATC is much more appropriate than some of this phraseology. So good job with it.
Yeah, but it's good to know the conjunctions to make a better, an appropriate way to speak with the tower or with the ground, with the haven't, hasn't. Yeah.
Have been able to, hasn't been able to.
Yeah.
It can get very, very muddy sometimes, very confusing. But good job.
Give us
nice
another
work.
tool to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
All right. You guys have a good day. And
you too, Don. Thank you very much.
I'll be back on I think Thursday. So
Thursday.
have fun.
Okay.
Got you.
See you guys
Take
later.
care.
See you. Bye bye.
Thank you for everything,
See you.
John.
Bye.
Bye.
Good day.